are you? Okay.
Technical issues.
My name is Layla Amar, and I am a Palestinian mixed media artist. I am based in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm going to start off my presentation with a bit of a history lesson, then move into my artwork. So we can go ahead and get started. So today I'll be talking about the art of Tatriz, which is an art that symbolizes resistance for Palestine, for our homeland and our right of return. Go ahead. So I'm going to give a brief history on Palestine. So in 1948 is what we Palestinians refer to as the Nakba, which means catastrophe in Arabic. And it refers to the mass displacement and disposition of Palestinians. This is when the settler colonial state of Israel displaced over 7,500 Palestinians, destroyed 530 villages, and killed over 15,000 Palestinians. My family had been in Palestine for generations at this time. So in 1948, my grandfather was about 15 years old. He was placed onto a ship with people hanging off the edges and transported to a different village. My grandmother, at only 8 years old, was beaten and forced to walk for days through the countryside without any food or water. Because my family was displaced from their homes, my father was born and raised in a refugee camp in southern Lebanon, where he was shot, brutally tortured, and placed in solitary confinement simply for being Palestinian. So since 1948, Palestinians have faced a brutal genocidal regime. The people in Gaza have been under siege in the largest open-air prison in the entire world. And Palestine is currently under an apartheid system. So the most recent genocidal attack began on October 7th, 2023, where over 64,000 Palestinians have been murdered. This number is more actually likely. Some medical journals report it's somewhere between 180,000 to 500,000. So Tatriz stems from this act of resistance for my people. Tatriz is a Palestinian embroidery traditionally practiced and passed down by women. It is stitching with colored threads to create traditional motifs. It's typically passed down from the mother to the daughter and is introduced as early as age 6. So these motifs are dependent usually on the region, village, or historical symbol, and each has a unique meaning. So you can tell from like each woman's thob, this is a thob that she's wearing. We usually stitch the Tatriz onto it. Her marital status, if she's from Ramallah or Jaffa or like whatever village in Palestine. Tatriz is a cultural preservation and it creates resistance for our people. It is an important form of protest. So for example, since Tatriz was stitched onto these thobs, Tatriz is pretty much like a language. Like a lot of the time, here, I'm gonna pass this around as I'm speaking. This is one of the ones I'm working on currently. But a lot of the imagery on it will be symbols for like a moon or a tree or a flower. So it has this map making like quality. So because of this, when our men were in jail, our political prisoners, women would often stitch secret messages or maps onto the thobs of their, onto their thobs so the men could read the messages simply by being seen. So it's a means of expression, it is storytelling, it is documentation through the eyes of Palestinian women. It is a visual language that has preserved Palestinian narratives across generations, and it is a means to bring Palestinian to women and carry on tradition. Tatriz was originally practiced through people who we called fallahi, which means the peasant class in Palestine, the rural class. But so if you were upper class or middle class, you would never be seen wearing or making Tatriz. It wasn't until the colonization of Palestine where Tatriz became a national symbol for our resistance and for our country. So there's 3 types of stitching. There's couching, cross-stitching, and stem stitch. What I've passed around is the cross-stitch, and it is what is typically seen. So patterns and motifs. Here are geometric patterns that were most popular in the late 19th and early 20th century. Each tribe had their own patterns, like I said before. Motifs reflect daily life, and there's like bordering branches, there's feather motifs, tooth lines, comb patterns, just a bunch of different shapes and sizes. So now I'll start talking about my artwork. I'm originally a mixed media abstract artist, and this is the first piece called Jaffa Flower. In the corner there is my first piece of Tatriz. So I'm trying to combine ancient indigenous art practice with modern contemporary abstract style. So you kind of see me trying to do that for the first time in this image. Yefa, where my grandfather is from, is a city, a port city, so it is surrounded by water. So you see me trying to implement those motifs into there. And in the piece I'm passing around, essentially I'm trying to disintegrate the tetris, make it more abstract towards the bottom. And as it gets more abstracted, I will be dropping it into like a painting type figure. So I'm really trying to put the practice on its head and represent my people through it. This piece, well, these two pieces were from my solo exhibition back in October, November, titled Ibn al-Shattat, Witnessing Across Time and Place. Ibn al-Shattat translates to son of diaspora. So it is about the Palestinian experience of living in the United States and watching the genocide of our people live streamed. The piece with the goats is titled Israeli Settlers Poison Palestinian Livestock in the West Bank, because often another genocidal tactic the settlers will use is to often kill our livestock to take away our source of income or our source of food. The flower is the national poppy flower of Palestine, and you can see it kind of burning in this image, and I have embroidered tetris on top of it and burnt both images. So the past two pieces in this piece were part of the solo exhibition, and I had 2 weeks to put it together. So this is like my first attempts with all of that. But this one, I started doing image transfers of photos from Gaza that my family had sent me. So you'll start seeing some images of bombed buildings in Gaza alive in my work, mixed with some of my abstract style. And then on top of it, I've embroidered flowers. These at the bottom here are cypress trees, and there's another tree in the corner, motifs that symbolize regrowth, representing our right to return to our land. This piece is called Ahna Rajain, translating to we will return in Arabic. So these aren't tetris, but I put these in the slides to represent my abstract style, because I am also a painter. This is also a body of work I'm working on here at Jentel. One of the pieces here is called Headaches in the Womb. So the whole point of this body of work is to represent the passing down of generational trauma, themes of regrowth and infection and infestation. This is just part of my studio at Jentel, taken like a week ago now. But these are just some of the works that I have been working on. But yeah, it's my body of work here is all about my homeland and my country and our right of return. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and let me know if you have any questions.